Returning to our top story now, Russia has launched missiles into Syria from the Caspian Sea. Meanwhile, Syrian troops are launching a ground offensive. Russia says it is ready for contact with the Free Syrian Army. And joining me now from Berlin is Gustav Gressel. He's a military analyst and visiting fellow at the European Council on Foreign Relations. Gustav, what missiles are likely to have been used there and how accurate are they?
Good evening. Well, these missile systems are in the Russian designation is Caliber and K. It's a very versatile missile system, a bit comparable to the US vertical launch system where you can stack a lot of missiles in it. This is the cruise missile land attack version of the missile system. Its range is fairly impressive with over 2,000 kilometers. The Russians say it is very accurate, also it is guided by the Russian version of the GPS, which is called GLONASS. And this system is not as precise as GPS, so we might doubt on the estimations. So the configuration of American cruise missiles that technologically is about on par with the Russian system strikes within 15 to 20 meters of a certain point.
Gustav,
the Russian claim that they can... Yeah.
Do we know what country's airspace the missiles were likely to have flown over?
Yes, they flew over Iran and then northern Iraq and entered Syria from the east. It is basically the same route that Russian aircraft use when they transit to Syria or bring supply to the Assad regime. So it's an air route that has been used by Russia over the last month, not even years. We can trace back this Russian support till 2011, 2012. So in this term, it's nothing unusual.
And would these countries have been notified prior to that launch?
Well, they have to. Otherwise, you would run in danger of causing accidental collisions. We don't know to which extent they have been notified, but at least the Syrian government and the Iraqi government, and especially Iran, they have military relations with Russia. So they are quite aware of what is going on. And of course, other forces will be notified which routes they're using, which corridors in the Iraqi airspace especially have to be closed, because these cruise missiles operate, for example, at similar altitude like US drones that are also busy tracking down and sometimes striking ISIS operatives in northern Iraq. So this is an issue of airspace collaboration.
And Gustav, you did tell us there about the types of missiles, the accuracy of those missiles. What is Russia's naval capacity in the Caspian Sea? What can you tell us about that?
That is very difficult to assess, because the critical issue is not to have the missile ready and to strike something. The really challenging thing is to designate the target. American cruise missiles, for example, have satellite links that make them very flexible to use them. You can redirect them, you can change the targets. This is not the case in terms of the Russian missile. So you have to know the target. It has to be a stationary one, otherwise the missile will miss it. And then the Russians can strike it. We don't know yet which targets have been hit, how big they were, and how long the Russians have intended to strike them. So we cannot really make an assessment about the Russian command and control system. That is the really sort of the critical issue in all these operations.
Gustav Gressel in Berlin, thank you for that update. We appreciate it.